It's quite a big question at the moment. How does ACC PS5 multiplayer compare to Gran Turismo 7? I was on my PlayStation. I thought I'd try and find out. So I've jumped in here to an online race in ACC on my PS5 at Misano. Now you can see it's 21 drivers here. So there's more drivers than you get in Gran Turismo 7. At the moment it's capped at 16. Only 16. And it's a new track. What's going to happen at turn 1? I'm going to try and avoid all the chaos. But unfortunately, we get tagged. So turn 1 chaos alive and well. And, oh, we get hit again. And we've got some minor damage to the car. So, you know, this... And another one. So this idea of ACC being this promised land of, oh, the racing's going to be a lot cleaner and tidier. Well, at least in these kind of open lobbies, my experience has been, because this is not unusual, I did some more races, and Turn 1 madness was a very consistent theme. So, is what it is. I think if you go into the competition side, LFM, then you can expect less of that. But in terms of just the bread and butter online, well, it's been very, very, very messy so far. We're back up to 13th place now, so we must have dropped stone dead last. We're back up to 13th. Let's see what we can do in this race at Misano, a new track. So, like, this is quite a tight hairpin almost that I wasn't respecting at the beginning. But there's a lot of positions to be gained. We're up into P11 already, and you can see there's quite a few drivers in sight ahead. That guy, that R8, is slowing down massively for that corner, so we'll just dive up the inside. So let me know in the comments, by the way, what do you think about ACC? This is running on my PS5. For me, the graphics do not feel as good as Gran Turismo 7. Something about the lighting, something about it just feels more jagged. It doesn't feel as refined. Even the way you look at the standings in the bottom left, the way it's kind of cutting off P6, and it's the way the font is and stuff, it just doesn't feel as good to me. It might be quite an unpopular opinion, because right now I think it's really popular to hate on GT7 and to say stuff like ACC is just a lot better. But I have to say, in my experience, graphics-wise, not necessarily the case. Now, ACC, more of a sim, it's not really about the graphics, is it? It's more about the driving. And something that I notice always when I do ACC is the tyres. The feeling of the tyres is so different. At the beginning, as your tyres are getting up to pressure and temps, they tend to slide a lot laterally across the tarmac, and you'll see a lot of that as I kind of turn in. The car will just slide a bit so you don't have the grip, and then when you bring the tyres into the operating range, you get loads and loads more grip. It's quite night and day, actually. So you can see now on the tyre indicator that there's a lot of stuff going on tyre indicators. We see the pressure, we can see the temps, we can see the brake temps, and you can actually see the tyres are segregated into like 3 vertical lines. If you look at my front right, you can see that the middle part of my front right is actually underinflated at the moment. And that's probably not going to be good for just maximising the amount of surface area of the tyre on the tarmac. So we have done a video on this channel on all this kind of stuff. I did it with a Kireth Esports driver, Nathan Maximin, so I'll put a card to that in this video. But a lot of stuff going on with the tyres, so if you like all that stuff, great. If you don't care about it, well, in Gran Turismo 7, you just don't have to worry about it. Right, in this race, we've caught up now with a pack of, maybe 5-6 cars, which is pretty good going, because we're in P9 already, so possibility that we might be able to get a podium here, which for my first online race at Misano, I would take every day of the week, as we're going to try and go maybe around the outside of the McLaren. Can we do it? Yes, we do. Get it done. And another McLaren ahead of us here, Flymo 81. This is a much tighter series of corners than I'd appreciated at the beginning, especially this left-hander. It's a real kind of chop across, and I think the McLaren there gets it a little bit wrong. So we're up into P5 now, which is pretty shocking, considering we had that massive... Well, we had quite a few accidents at the beginning, didn't we? But we've caught up with everyone. I go a little bit deep here. Now, it's not actually a terrible line to go deep, because you can kind of cut this corner, and then really you want to be cutting this corner a lot more than I'm doing. And that all can flow nicely. Again, Misano, a new track to me. Not something that's in GT7. I would love to see it in GT7. Obviously, they've added Watkins Glen. They can keep those free tracks coming, then GT7 is going to be an absolute beast, I'm sure, a couple of years into the life cycle. Going side by side here with the Lambo. Can we hang it round the outside? This first bit of the corner is very fast, but then you have to slam on the brakes. and then it's a long straight here. And these next corners are really weird. They look like corners, but they're not really corners. So this first one, absolutely flat. First right-hander, and I think the second one as well. So we're going to dive in here flat. I think the second one you can do flat as well, though you might want to lift just to open up this one, which is the first kind of actual corner. And then we have a tight right-hander. So I think that's 4 right-handers in a row. Very fun piece of tarmac, and I found in this lobby, it looked like that the driver skill was very varied in the lobby. We're up to P4 now, so we're already looking down P2, and I'm pretty sure we were down to last place. This is not something that would happen in Gran Turismo 7 at all, with the quite good ranking system that it has in the daily races, matchmaking. This is just an open lobby. ACC does not host regular daily races as far as I can tell. It has a competition server, which is far more irregular. So when you want to race online, you have to browse servers that are being hosted by people. And maybe I should be hosting a server. I'll look into that. As we're going to try and go up the inside of the Porsche. Are we going to get left enough space? You can see the radar right in the top middle of the screen. Oh, I say we definitely didn't get left enough space there. But we managed to go around the outside. Now we're in P3. And with just under 4 minutes of the race to go, we can now have a good look at the Lexus ahead of us and see whether we can have a crack at P2. I'm guessing that big number next to his name is the latency, just to let us know how much latency this guy is rocking with. As the Porsche goes very deep into the gravel there. Bit of an unusual line. It looks like we're running with 213 latency, 159 milliseconds of ping. So those are not fantastic figures, but it's what we've got. You can also see the CPU, and I guess the quality of packet loss. Whoa! As we go up the inside of the Lexus, braking very early. I think a lot of people, perhaps new to Misano and treating those right-handers with a bit more respect, you kind of really want to work backwards from the last corner. It's a bit like the multi-apex corner at Dragon Trail Gardens, isn't it? In a way. So we're up to, if we take stock now, 3 minutes to go. We're up to P2. It looks like P1 is 22 seconds up the road. So quite unluckily we're going to get a move on P2. There's people being disqualified, people with penalties, I presume. You can see in the top right, oh, we've just completed one of the track consistency bits. That is a bit that I do really like in ACC, actually. It's kind of a game within a game. So to get the track competency medals, you need to basically nail sectors. It reminds me of a bit of Need for Speed Shift, and I think Shift 2, where you had to master tracks and it would check your lines through corners and your apex speed and stuff like that, and if you were in the parameters it would give you a nice green tick. And although Need for Speed Shift wasn't I would say the best handling racing game, that system was really, really good, and it's something that I quite appreciate in ACC. I think Gran Turismo 7 could really do with something like that. And one of my disappointments with GT7 is just, I would say, the lack of just racing innovation there's been since GT Sport. Exactly the same HUD, exactly the same systems. Obviously a real big opportunity to innovate and try and move racing forward, and they just did not really do anything like that. So that's a big plus for ACC for me. Again, coming into these fast right-handers, I think we're going to try and be flat through here, and then we're going to dab on the brakes here. Probably should be cutting that corner a lot more and getting all over these curbs. I do like racing tracks with healthy curbs that you can clatter over, so I think Misano is going to be a favourite track for me. Now, if you look at the tyres, we go back to the tyre indicator in the bottom right, you can see that my left tyre is pretty much up to pressures and temps, around 27 psi, and the tyre's inflated nicely. Something is not quite right with my right front tyre. It is underinflated in the middle, and only 26.1 psi, which is very, very, very low. So that right front, I am not having a lot of cornering grip. So when I'm going around any fast left-handers, for example, the hairpin coming up in a couple of corners, I'm not going to be getting the maximum cornering grip. So again, like I said, if you're someone who likes tinkering around with that kind of stuff, ACC is probably going to be the game for you. If I'm boring you right now talking about tyre temperatures, then ACC might not be the green promised land that some people say it is, because it's definitely not as plug and play as something like GT7. Now, this is going to be the last lap, I think. I don't know what that yellow dot is on the mini-map, kind of in between two corners. We've got people hunting us down now. P3, P4 look like they're catching us. But if you look at my track consistency stuff in the top right, a lot more green blocks, which means I think we're getting more used to Misano. And it's been a fun race. But have I enjoyed it as much as Gran Turismo 7? I don't know. Gran Turismo 7 for me on console still has to be the gold standard. You enter a daily race in Gran Turismo 7 and you know that the bop is going to be pretty good, or at least you can see the car that's going to be OP and go in it, and you know the matchmaking is going to be pretty good. So I'm not sure this has been a better experience than the Gran Turismo 7 daily race. Yes, there's been more cars technically in the race, 21 cars at the beginning, but I don't feel like I've raced 21 cars. So ACC on console, online, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, viewers, about it. Let me know in the comments what you think. But there we go. That is a race uncut. That's my experience. It was fun to drive Misano. I'm not sure we had any really good wheel-to-wheel action at all, which is a little bit disappointing. But there we go. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time.